Hi, this is Billy Zell doing the rate part two. So last week I talked about Barry Habib, wonderful man in our industry that has the most sophisticated ideas. So we talked about the primary causes being spending, bad fiscal policy, slowness to raise rates. So basically the Fed, number one problem. Number two is supply chain. And number three is how we measure inflation. It's year over year. So that's kind of why inflation readings are going up. He thinks it's going to peak in October, like you mentioned, because supply chain will come down. So let's talk about the other reasons why October might be the top for a 30-year rate. Now, keep in mind, a 30 years a longer look. Short-term rates, he expects a 0.5% increase each month for the next 4 or 5 months. And what that does is it increases consumer credit cards, autos, home equity lines. So it will affect the consumer, but more importantly, it'll slow down businesses. So if you're doing a $50 million budgeted business and it was costing you 3% on the rate, now you got to pay 5%, it may not pay to expand because the numbers just don't work. So we're going to see a lot of businesses stop expansions because of the cost. And that will slow down the money in the economy because basically inflation is money both from the business and consumer side, too much cash chasing too few options out there. So that was some of the good news from him on that. And then there were some indicators I wanted to talk about. So anytime we have CPI above 5% for a quarter, there's a 45% chance we're in a recession within a year. When unemployment rate gets below 4% for a quarter, there's a 42% chance we're heading into a recession. When both of those things happen, which according to him was March of 22, it's a 100% chance that we're going into a recession. So he's saying we got 9 to 10 months. The recession will cure the high interest rates, both on the short term and the long term. And then we get to ride this whole cycle that the Fed loves to do where we boom and bust. So they'll take rates up way too fast. We'll end up in a nasty recession. They'll correct it by overcorrecting, dropping rates too low, causing inflation. So we get to live this wonderful dream again. But for folks who are closing now, you might want to think about going highest rate, less cost if you're okay with it, because there's a good chance a few years out we're going to have an opportunity to drop rates. And this is my opinion. So you can call me, you can email me, you can challenge me. I love challenges. I'm starting to kind of lean toward Barry now. I was more leaning toward we're going to have these rates around forever. It felt like. My number is 720-617-7720. And I'm Billy Zell, obviously with Synergy One Lending, just doing my Friday update. Have a great weekend.